This program may contain material that is not suitable for all audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Welcome to Straight Talk with DC Hanna, coming to you live from the heart of the Corona apocalypse. We are in strange times indeed, my friends. As I sit here puffing on my cigar, sharing my thoughts with you. Wait, it's dark, isn't it? It's black. In fact, there's nothing to see at all right now. Is it night? Am I talking to you from inside a hidden bunker somewhere? In the dark, alone, huddled with my rifle and my MREs? Has the power gone out? Is there no light to be had? And I'm talking to you thanks to a hand-cranked charger, keeping my phone going. You don't know, do you? You don't know. Because you can't see. We rely so much on our visual stimuli, except for blind people, of course. These little pauses, that's me enjoying my cigar, because I know that it's dark. But what can we know without seeing it? Who can we trust? Can you trust me? Can I trust you? Can you trust yourself? Well, each of us is in the dark right now during the Corona apocalypse. We have our own concerns or our own fears, depending on how you categorize it. We know there's more going on than we're being told, with the exception of some people who really do believe that the government is telling them everything that the government knows. I know those people are fools, right? They also believe everything the government has told them. Those people are fools. And so here we are in the dark. Who do you trust? Who can you trust? Are you starting to feel a little stress right now because you can't see what I'm doing as I talk to you? Because the things I am telling you are working in the back of your mind. Are you listening to the background noise trying to place just where I am right now, in what environment, whether it is day or night? You're trying to fill in the gaps. And as you fill in the gaps, you're using your experience, your deductive ability, and a lot of wild guesses. Where am I right now? Well, I mentioned earlier being in a bunker. If you're able to hear the background noise, it's a fair guess. I'm not in a bunker, unless I happen to be in a bunker with a barking dog and a bird, maybe a truck driving by. So you deduce from the evidence available to you that I'm sitting outdoors. Day or night, you can't tell. You can't even tell whether I'm wearing pants. By the way, I'll reveal that later. That's right. You might see me without pants in just a little while. You want to think about that, whether you want to stick around for that. Oh, now I have teased to you that something may change in what information you have that'll help you to reach the determination of my location and, of course, whether I'm wearing pants. Does that increase or decrease your stress level? I want you to think about that just a little bit. Well, a part of your mind is worrying about this, even a small part, because the subconscious parts of our mind, they take all these little bits of evidence or the lack of evidence and create the narrative in our mind. Now, what am I doing right now? Is DC smoking his cigar, taking a puff? Is DC drinking a cup of coffee? There is no evidence. Oh, but now there is. There was a sound. Little bits that your mind puts together to create the mental picture. Well, am I rambling? Actually, I'm not. Everything going on right now, the coronavirus, the government response to coronavirus, the media reaction and guiding of the narrative about coronavirus, those all contribute to our stress level every day. And if you've watched the news, you've seen this. Every day, the press have found another new stressor. Remember murder hornets? How about a 3-day period when maybe there was an asteroid that was coming close to Earth? Until you read way down the story and found it was 7 times the distance of the moon. But if all you did was read the headline, asteroid approaching Earth. Well, today, there was another article about 2 schoolgirls in India who discovered an asteroid that's left its orbit and is heading toward Earth. But you had to go down 10 paragraphs on CNN to find out that this asteroid will enter Earth's gravitational field in more than 1 million years. 2 schoolgirls in India saw, using a feed from a NASA telescope, that there is an asteroid whose orbit has changed. Now, its orbit has been changing for millions of years, but they detected that it is not orbiting the sun like a tiny little planet. Instead, it is in an irregular orbit which they show in 1 million years will enter Earth's gravitational field. That's not the same as striking the Earth. Remember, the moon is in Earth's gravitational field, and the moon is very, very large. This asteroid is very, very small, so it can be held at a greater distance because of its small weight. But CNN succeeded for the day in adding another little nugget of worry. What else can we worry about? Protests, social breakdown, Tasmanian devils infected with rabies swimming off the island of Tasmania and imperiling the world. A new strain of flu, a new strain of this, strain of that. If you look every single day, particularly on CNN, you will see another stress-inducing article. Now, their goal is not just to stress you for no good reason. Their goal is to stress you so that you'll come back to their news source. It's Pavlovian. Remember Dr. Pavlov? The bell, the dog, the salivation. Yeah, it's called stimulus response. And that is what's happening in the press. That's also what's happening in the government. They are deliberately stressing you, me, everyone, so that we will, in terms of the government, depend on the government for more and more. The government must tell us whether it's safe for us to go out in the sun, to go outside and get fresh air, to drive to the store. The government must declare which of our businesses and livelihoods are essential. Meanwhile, the press, their job is to warn us about every little stressful thing that could kill us off. We just have to know about it and look ahead and fear it, right? Well, the murder hornets. What was it, 3 months ago? The story about murder hornets in Oregon. Well, yesterday, CNN reports first murder hornet body found in Oregon. They found a dead hornet, and that made the national, international news. Now, if a human being gets stung by the murder hornet, there will be people that demand that we add beekeeper suits to our mask and now our eye shades because we must be safe. Adding to the stress. The whole thing adds to your stress. Now, you're still looking at that blank screen a little bit, aren't you? The screen is black. DC's going to do something. He mentioned earlier not wearing pants. Is he suddenly going to flash us with a video image of him without pants? Boy, I don't know if I can handle that. Come on, admit it. Some part of your mind that happened. Man, I don't want to see DC's butt. Or maybe a little bit. It's stress. Stress causes specific reactions in the body. One of them is the release of a particular hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is the body's stress hormone. It's the signal after adrenaline that your body is under stress and must adapt. Some of the things that happen in reaction to the cortisol release is the release of histamine. Now, histamine is a chemical created in our body that causes our airway to swell up a little bit, causes us to blow a little snot, causes us to feel cool and clammy. It's normally the body's reaction to an invasion by a microbe, an allergen, a bacterium, a virus. Our body reacts by secreting histamine, actually one of several histamines, and then that's how the body fights it. So here we are in the Rona times when a runny nose could get you shot. And we are being stimulated to produce the hormone, the chemicals, that cause runny nose, clammy skin. What do you think about that? Does that stress you a little bit? Have I added to your stress? Is your body releasing a little cortisol? Okay, now you're asking yourself, why am I sitting here in the dark listening to DC blah, blah, blah about cortisol and murder hornets? Well, here's why. This has been an exercise in inducing a small amount of stress in more than one part of your body. You may not really feel it. After all, we've been under a hell of a lot of stress since February, haven't we? But yet, it's there. Some people may have noticed their heart beat a little faster. Some people may have noticed their mouth got a little drier. Some people may have noticed that they perspired just a little bit or got goosebumps. Other people just got bored and maybe have tuned out already. With the exception of that part, each of those physiological responses are a natural response to stress. More serious responses to stress that continues to stress our bodies are things like lack of sleep, inability to concentrate, change in appetite, generally a reduction in appetite, which for some folks is good, but sometimes an increase or a desire for strange foods, disruption of sleep habits, generally insomnia, guys, impotence, gals, change in lady stuff. You know what I mean. It is happening. There is no one in the United States who doesn't have Alzheimer's right now that doesn't have some level of worry about all of this crap. You may be worried about the virus itself. You may be worried about your family. You may be worried about yourself. You may be worried about vague other people out there when you hear about death tolls. You may be worried about your business, about your job, about your retirement. But there is something. You may be worried what it's going to look like in 12 months. More businesses closed, disruption, greater disruption in supply chains for food, for fuel, for essentials, God forbid for Amazon. Everybody has little stressors, and they do add up. I'm worried about this, and I'm worried about that. Maybe this and that are opposing things, but I'm worried about both of them. And your body reacts to that. Have you felt that? Have you felt a change in your sleep habits, in your libido, in your hunger, in your ability to concentrate and work, or concentrate and play? Well, that's where I'm going today, is to concentrate and play. I know you're stressing because everyone is stressing either a lot or a little. Looking on Facebook, people are losing their minds. Out in the real world, there are people who are violently pro-mask, to the point of threatening or even committing violence against other people who weren't wearing masks. There are people who are violently anti-mask, to the point of threatening or committing violence against people who demand that they mask up. Each side knows they're right, and the other side is evil, whatever. And you know what? Maybe they're both right. Maybe the other side is evil, but I do know that both sides are stressed. And if you're just in the middle, you're the guy trying to go out and buy his groceries, or maybe you just want to make sure your business stays afloat. The stress is getting to you. So my advice is to consciously change gears, change focus. If you have a hobby, to practice it and to schedule practicing it. Now that may sound funny. I'm going to schedule my hobby, but you got to schedule it. You got to make sure you do it. You can't be in a position where the thing that brings you joy is the thing that gets shoved aside. In the same way that when financial planners tell people to deliberately set aside a certain amount of money for their recreation so that they don't overspend, I'm telling you to set aside a certain amount of your time for your recreation so that you don't underspend. If you've watched or listened, you know that there are things that I absolutely love. motorcycle riding, cigar smoking, the enjoyment of fine bourbon and fine bacon, shooting, all those things. But I also enjoy exercising my mind with reading and with writing. So having a variety of things that I can go to is good to keep all the parts of my brain working. But making the time to do it, scheduling it, and doing it on purpose, make sure that these things do get done to help my mind relax, to help not put away the stress, but to counter it. Because there are other hormones produced in our bodies when we do the things or even think of the things we like. People relax by reading. People enjoy riding motorcycles, and it's relaxing. Shooting sports are fun. Writing is mentally stimulating. Now, if all you did was write apocalyptic fiction about the Rona, yeah, that might bother you a little bit. But there's a lot of other things to write about. Look back at the times in history when there have been epidemics, pandemics, wars, and some of the best fiction, the best literature was written that way. During the period when both Frankenstein and Dracula were written, Lord Byron, Percy Bysshe Shelley, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, they were all in a house together on Lake Geneva because of a smallpox outbreak. Now, they practiced an alternative lifestyle. They all did. It was a little social circle. You know what I mean. They isolated themselves. And they all did some great writing in there. The Constitution of the United States was written during a yellow fever outbreak. The Declaration of Independence was written during a smallpox outbreak. This could be your time to do something great in an area of recreation that you enjoy. Are you a gamer? Man, you could win. You could be the grand champion of whatever game it is you play. I'm not a gamer. I don't know how that stuff works. But I know it's a game. I know it's competitive. If that's your relaxation, go for it. It's out there for you. So you should enjoy it. Now, in enjoying it, you're doing your body a favor. Focusing your attention on your hobby, on your pastime, and on your passion means that you're not focusing on the external stimuli causing the stress. Been working on something, whether it's a work project, a really good book, or a hobby, and you say to yourself, man, for the last couple of hours, I didn't even think about X, Y, or Z. So you know that's a real thing. Take the time to unwind your mind. Now, as I've been talking, have you caught on that you're no longer stressed about the fact you can't see me? That's how this works. By the way, that little pause, that was me puffing on a cigar. By the way, I'm smoking a Romeo Black, the Romeo San Andres by Romeo y Julieta. I'm waving it in front of the microphone. Of course, you can't see it. I'm having some fun with you. This is a tasty smoke. I've smoked it and reviewed it before, and it's really good on a warm morning. There, that was your 30-second cigar review. For me, this is a part of enjoying that focus when I'm having a cigar. The morning meditation. Making this podcast is another enjoyment. I am fortunate. The work I do fascinates me. I love it. The work itself is not a stressor in a negative way. But disconnecting from it, focusing on something else, is also beneficial for my mind. So it's the same thing with you. Do something fun, not connected to your job, connected to your home. Enjoy it. Fake it till you make it if you have to. And you know what? You will make it. Keep at it. And now for the big reveal. Am I wearing pants? Yes. Yes, I am. There's one less stressor for you. How's that? You've been listening to Straight Talk with DC Hannah. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Straight Talk with DC Hannah. Like my Facebook page, Straight Talk with DC Hannah. You can talk to me there. I'll answer any messages and any posts. Well, I look forward to talking to you again next time. How about some video? I think we can do that. Peace out, everybody. To my family and my friends, I love you. Stay strong, and I'll talk to you soon.